This is a beautiful 152. Fazkuruni azkurkum washkuruli wala takfuru. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Allah say, you do my zikr. Fa, then, therefore. Fa with fatah. Fazkuruni. Remember me thus or therefore, and I shall remember you. The Holy Prophet says, when we remember Allah, when we sit in a majlis and we talk about Him, when we do His zikr, Allah does it in a better majlis than ours amongst angels. He says, so and so is remembering me. Let's remember him. Let's talk about him. So that's why wherever you find majlis of zikr, sit there, attended by the angels and everybody there. So you must do zikr of Allah as much as possible, because Allah will also do your zikr.
So this is going to be a new series that we're going to do where we make sure that we point out the falsehood that is mixed with the truth. Because these videos that are being put out, these short little clips, they're trying to find a little bit of truth that the fraud of Mubarik Gillani has said in his various lectures without pointing out the falsehood that he has mixed with that. So I'm going to point out the falsehood. As you can see here, we have the transcription of all of his videos, and this comes from his lecture or his video series on Surah Baqarah. So right there, you can see that's the transcription of what he just said in that video. But let's point out some other things that he also said in this video series. So let's just go back. I'm just going to point out some things because we can't go through all of them because there is a lot. But let's see. So right here, I just wanted to point something out real quick, which is going to lead to another point where Mubarik Gillani talks about the ayat 7 through 20, talk about the hypocrites or the munafiqs in Surah Baqarah. And that'll be important later when we talk about something else that he said. And this is what comes important, is because when he says that the ayats 7 through 20 are all about munafiqs, here's where he basically declares the entire, almost the entire Muslim Ummah munafiqs, because he says these are people who have traded guidance for waywardness, which is very bad business. Allah is fully aware of the mischief these people do. He's talking about the munafiqs. And he says at this time, 90% of the Muslims are like this. 90% of the Muslims are munafiqs. They just have Muslim names. They make salat and do everything the law says, but they sell their deen anywhere they can get some benefit. They are called mother sellers, sellers of Islam and sellers of Iman. They trade guidance for waywardness, crookedness, and kufar. This trade will have no benefit to them. So he basically claimed that 90% of the Muslim Ummah are munafiqs. So here we have that, this is a long section that he quotes. As you can see, he quotes the Gospel of Barnabas, which we all know, or we all should know, that the Gospel of Barnabas is a fabrication and is considered a fabrication by non-Muslim scholars and, more importantly, by Muslim scholars. And he also quotes a fabricated hadith where he talks about Adam alayhi salam supposedly going down and seeing La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu on the throne. And then he also endorses the bid'ah practice of kissing your thumbs and putting them on your eyes. And he makes a point to point out that, oh, this is not shirk. This is not shirk. If this is done, Allah will protect your eyesight. Again, this is no support. It's fabricated. So he's quoting fabricated hadiths. Again, this is the falsehood of Mubarik Gillani, but they won't put this stuff out there for you people to see. Again, and his source for all this is, it's written in the Gospel of Barnabas. Yeah, it's written in the Gospel of Barnabas. And again, he continues quoting from the Gospel of Barnabas by quoting another fabricated hadith where he says that, or he alleges that Allah says, or Rasulullah, if I did not create you, I would not have created anything. And he says that the Wahhabis say that this hadith is invented and it is a lie. It's not Wahhabis. It's called the consensus of all Islamic scholars that have said that this is a fabricated hadith. And your support, Mubarik Gillani's support, again, is the Gospel of Barnabas, which is a known fabrication, is a very well-known fabrication, and he quotes that it's from the Gospel of Barnabas. That's his support. So what other falsehoods does he have in this lecture or discourse? He says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was living in Jannah and Allah sent down his Nur. So he's saying that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he came to this earth, was just living in Jannah, which he has absolutely no support to support that. So again, more falsehood. He also claims that Allah was speaking through the tongue of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as if like he was physically taking over Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's tongue and talking, when we all know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam received wahi. He received wahi from Allah through the angel Jibreel, who taught him the ayats of the Quran, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited the ayats upon the people. See this a lot with a lot of people that are extreme or extreme deviants, especially with fake Sufis, is that they really love making the Wahhabis their enemies, which there's no known group of Wahhabis that exist in the world. They say that if anybody believes when Rasulullah knows the unseen, then kill them. This is what he says that Wahhabis say. So basically he's claiming that Rasulullah knows the unseen, when we can go to the Holy Quran, and there's plenty of evidence where Allah himself says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not know the unseen.
قل لا يعلم من في السماوات والأرض الغيب إلا الله وما يشعرون أيان يبعثون.
So here he talks about, the enemies, right? Support the alleged enemies of Allah and Rasulullah say that Rasulullah is dead. However, does that include Abu Bakr? Because we know Abu Bakr radiallahu anh has said, no doubt, whoever worshipped Muhammad, then Muhammad is dead. But whoever worshipped Allah, then Allah is alive and shall never die. And this is Abu Bakr, the best Muslim that has ever existed, except for Rasulullah. So is he calling Abu Bakr an enemy? Again, mixing falsehood with truth. And here he quotes the confession of a British spy, which everybody who knows, Muslims and non-Muslims, people that are educated and scholarly and have went through this stuff, all recognize that this is another fabrication. But this is the belief of people who promote falsehood. They believe in fabrications. They base religion on fabrications. They follow conspiracy theories, and they ignore the Quran and the Sunnah. This is an interesting one here, is where he says everything they do. He's talking about these munafiqs, is that they dress their daughters in the most provocative Western American dress, tight jeans and pants and sweatshirts. Which is very interesting, is that when Mubarik Gillani commanded all the females in his Jamaat to actually dress down and actually go incognito and not look like Muslims in the past and currently in the recent past, where he ordered everybody to dress down and take off their Muslim garb. Again, so here he claims that no one should fear anyone but Allah. But we all know about his famous statement. Mubarik Gillani has said to his followers that if you don't fear Allah, then fear me. He called his followers to fear him. He says that your home should be a model Muslim home, clean and tidy. But we've seen recent videos of his room, which was the opposite of clean and tidy.
Yes. Lights on. The lights were on. There's cobwebs everywhere. There's rat poop everywhere. It's dirty. Old.
Over there.
They never cleaned his room when even he was in this room. That's first one. They never cleaned his room when even he was in this room. That's first one.
It smells yucky. The water is running.
Stuff rotting in here. Stuff rotting in here.
Why would you do that to someone who you love? Like, leave the
Room looking nasty. Looking nasty.
And you make him look under the bed. I don't know where to begin with.
The filth. The filth.
That is down there. Cobwebs everywhere.
And this is a very interesting one, because he claims that without Rahmah or Rasulullah, because he says Rasulullah is Rahmatul Alameen, and without Rasulullah, that Allah's glory can't function properly. He says it is through Rasuli Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he says it's through Rasul that Allah's glory functions properly. Then he talks about this stuff, says some words related to this whole belief in the falsehood of the seven sultans. But just imagine this. We're talking about Allah, who can do anything, anytime he wants, without anybody's assistance or help or intermediary. And he's here saying that Allah's glory can't function properly without Rasulullah. May Allah protect us. Again, here he quotes another fabricated hadith, the same fabricated hadith, had I not created you, I wouldn't have created anything. And then he also tells basically stories or myths about in Saudi Arabia how they destroyed Prophet Muhammad's house and filled it with garbage, which is just absolutely not true. There is no actual authentic place that any Muslims know of where Rasulullah was actually born. It's just a made-up fable that's just not true. And of course, you know, the Wahhabis, you know, you got to make an enemy out of somebody. But then again, you know, his reliable source that he quotes, the Gospel of Barnabas. I mean, just more falsehood. And you'll see that, you know, whenever these people speak on their own, they have nothing but to say but falsehood. You know, so where he says the Wahhabis destroyed the house where Rasulullah lived, you know, this is just stuff that's just not true. Made up stuff just to create enemies and create extremism. And this is one I wanted to bring up. This will probably be the last contradiction I bring up for this video. He says, if you divorce her 3 times, she will have to do halala. So he's talking about halal marriages, right? This is when he contradicts himself with his actions. He says, so the 3rd time you divorce her, it is irrevocable and she will have to marry somebody else. You cannot force him to divorce her, right? You can't prearrange these. There are people who are professionals who just go do the halala. The halala is done and the wife is brought back. That is not allowed at all. So he says halal, prearranged halal is like how they do in the Jamaat, like how he has actually ordered people to do, like he actually did with his own wife. He says this is not allowed, but he did this action himself. And he says Rasulullah has condemned the people who have made halal a business, which is actually true, right? There's hadiths about this. They're cursed. So Mubarik Gillani is talking about how Rasulullah condemned these people, how this act is haram, but he's done it himself, and he's ordered plenty of people to do the same thing. Just another contradiction. Again, you have to be able to spot the falsehood, and when you have people like this who mix truth with falsehood, you should just stay away from them. So that's it for this video. I'll be doing more videos. Every time they put something out, I'm going to find the reference in the transcriptions and go over the false information that Mubarik Gillani propagates in those same videos. Assalamu alaikum.